Don't blink, it's your boy Ink. Welcome to the intricacy of telling a good story. Every story deserves to be heard. The problem is how it's told. A great story can be told in a horrible fashion and dies. A shitty story can be told with somebody that has a lot of charisma and pulls it off. So when you're telling a story, it doesn't matter what story you tell, there's a couple things that you have to understand. I'm not saying I'm the best storyteller, but let me tell you what I know. You have to understand who you're telling the story to, and how to make it relatable to them. Because as long as they fit, as long as they feel like they belong, or they're kind of like part of the thing, they'll be excited. Right? Add some little snippet of something that reminds you of them in the story. Make it some put some jokes inside the story. If it's a horror story, add some reaction, add some facial reaction. The thing you have to understand is, if your story, the longer your story is, the more you're gonna be involved. But you have to understand also that involving somebody in a story requires you to always bring them back, because if somebody lost a part of the story, most of the time they won't tell you that they lost. Right? Also, uh, you can say a really cool story, like a short story, but if you have a long story, then you can tell again and again, because of the longer the story, the more detail there is. The more detail there is, the less people are going to remember. And a good story isn't how you remember it. A good story isn't how it was said. It's how it was said, sorry, but it's how it made you feel. If a story made you feel good, then that general feeling, that general emotion of confidence towards a story, is something you're going to be looking at a positive light. So again, make sure that your story is making people feel a type of way that is comfy, that is inviting, that they're feeling like, yo, this is a cool story. And again, understand that people are going to prefer story with upbeat, with something that is positive, that the story that are about hardship, because a lot of people, although they'll care about your hardship, they won't care to hear 20 story minutes about it. So make the story fun, make it something positive. And if even if you have to, if even if you have to tell about it, if you have like a horrible story, like for example, somebody was mean to you at school, say, hey, can I talk to you? Can I need to get out something off my chest. Warn somebody that the story is gonna be impactful, because chances are, if they know that the story is gonna be sad, they're gonna put themselves in the mood to be sad. If you become sad half of the story in, it's not cool. So prepare them and put them. Also, you wanna put in like element in before, in between, and at the end. And the beginning, you're gonna say, hey, you're gonna love this story. I heard this story and I was thinking about you. Hey, this story is actually pretty popping right now. Have you heard of it? In the middle, say, yo, you're saying like, can you relate to that? Ask them questions in the middle. Ask them questions to make sure that they're one, paying attention, two, that they are involved in the story, because even if the story is going on with you, the fact that you're telling the story makes them involved in a type of fashion. If you're asking questions to somebody and they're not interested, well, they understand that you have the story that you have left is you have to shift it, because if somebody didn't care about the first half of the story and you don't change it up, then it's a whole shitty story, right? If your story is shitty in the beginning and it becomes better at the end, then at least there's some positive to it. And because there's some positive to it, the person can say, you know what, that was a good story. You know what? You wanna know a secret? Start a story shitty and end it with something that's amazing. That way they'll have the bar set as low as possible. Whatever you do, it'll be set higher. Again, it's how the story made you feel. If the story took you from boredom to excitement, is better than from normal to excitement. Gauge the way they feel. For example, if you see that a person is, if that a person is very in a good mood, tell them about a good story. If you feel like they're sad, tell them a story that's sad, so they can relate to. And then they're not alone. It's understanding the person you talk to. So you have to focus on two things. Who am I telling the story to? And why am I telling the story? Because why you're telling the story is because you want to make them laugh, you want to make them happy, you want to share something, you want to get something off your chest, and with that you can bring on the energy. If you want to make somebody laugh, you're gonna bring this comedic energy, this kind of spirit. You're gonna be a lot of like smile, a lot of goofy faces. If you're sad, you gotta understand that your story cannot be upbeat. It's gonna be more slow, more mellow. Sorry, and by being more mellow, some people they're gonna be it's gonna be hard to focus. But you're gonna go be able to go deeper. So again, there's so many elements, but it's just gauging who's you listening to, your surrounding, and that's about it. I had this guy at work last week. He told me the story of a movie, and it was phenomenal. And I had this other guy a month before who was telling me the story of Injustice. Now, truthfully, is the movie I didn't care about. I didn't care about the movie, but the guy that we talked about it, it was fun. We had a good conversation. The Injustice story, I was really interested in it, but the guy constantly took pauses. He constantly stopped talking. He constantly questioned something, and that after all of it, I was bored. The story lasted 40 minutes, and after 10 minutes, I was bored. I didn't tell him because I wanted to be nice. I wanted to be able to express himself because that person is shyer. That person is more reserved. So I want to make him confident. That way, he's able to share more. But you see, it doesn't matter that I didn't like the movie. The guy did it in a fashion that was amazing, and I liked it. So keep that in mind when you're telling a story, and hopefully, you're gonna be able to tell a great story. As always, I love you guys. But before we stopped, I almost forgot. No, we'll keep it for another video. I love you guys. Peace.